Just popped up that you're streaming live somewhere.
Shannon, while she's working on that, I did have a question. I watched your previous class that you posted earlier today, but I missed the item that you talked about in conjunction with PD 8020, and I was hoping that you could maybe like type that in because I searched like crazy.
Okay,
I
let
could
me
not
look.
figure out what it was.
I have, so you guys know, the class we're doing sort of this class tonight, but since I just did it, we're going to go a little bit more deep and naughty. But
Good.
the PowerPoint
Pun intended.
has everything that I say is on my website already. So like if I was talking about PD 8020, you can flip to the PD 8020 PowerPoint, and then that should tell you what I was talking about before or after it. Because honestly, after I get done talking, I don't know what I said when I said it. I'm looking through here, seeing if I can see it.
Thank you, Shannon.
Susan, what are you wanting me to do tonight? Do you want me to do the class like this? Do you want it to be more?
Well, here's the thing. We were originally going to do the adrenal class, and then I decided once a month we should just do your whole series because then I didn't have to plan anything and I could just do your videos. So tonight is supposed to be your sexy talk. But if you want to bring in other stuff, that's okay. Just know that next month I'm going to be playing your adrenal one over like live in the group for the team. So,
Okay.
but duplicating it's fine as well. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right, so let me ask the peeps in the room, since I can't see some of you, I don't know who just last week watched my male and female hormones and healthy sex. Let me see. Like 3. All right, well, I'm gonna kind of do a little bit of both. How does that work?
So that replays in the group though too. So if you guys are in Benevolent Oils or if you're in Shannon's group, so either group, you should have access to that. So I encourage everyone to go back and listen to that. And before Shannon gets started, I do want to say too that we do these classes for you guys. So I'm really super excited to see some of you guys here, and I haven't seen a couple of you in years. So I'm like really excited you popped on. But also, keep in mind, this is a really good way for you guys to share Young Living with a friend or a sister or someone who's in need. So as you see mine and Shannon's classes come up, like if you think of somebody like off the top of your head, as soon as you see the name of the class, don't hesitate and just go text them. Make them one of your 5s if you're on the call the other night, right? Text them and let them know about the class. Hey, I saw this class pop up and it made me think of you. Because something Shannon's saying tonight could be something that one of your friends needs to hear. And if you don't act on it, then they don't hear it from you. Okay, so like it's really important, like let's share the love and like empower people to get well. Okay, so that's why we do these classes. So they're not just for our teams. And Shannon, I think I just found out that we're actually sidelines. Do you know that?
No, I didn't. Who's
Are you Kathy Farmer?
I am.
Well, we're under Vicky, but I just realized that Kathy Farmer is also part of our upline. Nice. So somehow we are actually oily sisters.
Oh, I love that.
How about that? So with that said, Shannon, you can teach the class any way you want tonight. I'm handing it over to you. So there you go.
All right. Well, I am super honored to be here, you guys. And I 100% agree with Susan. Anything that you learn, if tonight somebody's name pops into your mind, it's hard to say, hey, Susan, I thought of you during a sex class. But it's an icebreaker.
Depending on the friend, you might. I'm just saying.
Laughter does good like a medicine, and it breaks the conversation, it breaks the tension. So you know, in order to have this amazing healthy sex life, which just in case you don't know, a good sex life, like orgasms on their own, do so many good things for your body. Orgasms increase your serotonin. The #1 prescription drug in the United States is antidepressants. Those are ones that interrupt the serotonin so that it stays in the body longer, because that's how we can experience joy and feel good about things. It's a neurotransmitter our body is supposed to make. And when you have an orgasm, every cell in your body is flooded with massive amounts of serotonin. So if for no other reason than for your mental health, you should be having orgasms a couple of times a week. You know? It's a medicinal thing. I'm just saying. It also kicks out dopamine. Dopamine is another neurotransmitter. Dopamine is the one that allows you to feel and enjoy an orgasm. Without dopamine, you can't thoroughly enjoy anything. You can't have that big belly laugh from something that just cracked you up. You can't enjoy a piece of cake and be like, oh my God, it's so good, without dopamine. Dopamine does that. And the more often we have intercourse, the more often that we have orgasms, whether it's vaginal or clitoral, either way, the more often, the more dopamine we kick out. So we are happier, are more content, and get this, you will live longer. The more often you have orgasms, they say like 2 to 3 times in a month, the more often you have it, the longer you live. It increases that longevity. So if you don't want to eat your beets, just have orgasms. It's a great way to fix the problem because it's all about blood flow. So how many of you are already freaked out that I've said orgasm so many times? I'm trying to desensitize you for the rest of the class. They're just really, it's important. And if you're sitting on the call right now and you're like, I've never even had an orgasm, I'm sorry, that's why you're so sad. Like, we can fix this. And this is something that we really need to strive to be able to do. And I know a lot of you guys are like, oh my gosh, it's just so silly. But it really is good for our health. It's good for our mental health. It's good for your actual physical body functions better afterwards. Do you think exercise is powerful and good for your health? Imagine having sex 3 times a week and hitting that orgasm every time. It gets you breathing, you're breathing deeper. There's even like hormones and things that kick out in our lungs when we are having intercourse, which is different from you are just doing aerobics. It's different, even though they're both deep breathing. So doing this, making sure that we've got that going on is good for so many different reasons. And I say this in all of my classes when we are chatting about sex, is I'm not talking about the emotional component right now. Right now, I'm talking about the physical component because emotions, they have a play 100% on whether or not you can enjoy or even want to have intercourse. Like, there's a play that happens there, and that isn't covered in another class. The first class in this series is called Emotions and Endocrine, and in that we go through. So if you have emotional reasons that you're like, I don't want this, I can't, and all the different things, that's the class I need you to go back and listen to because it really covers it. And then we've got a class coming up next month sometime, and it's on emotional release and being able to let some of those traumas go. And you may not even know why you have that barrier built up, but the cool thing about essential oils is you don't have to know the why. The vibration, the frequency of the essential oils start breaking down those barriers so that we can step into so many different things. So if you're on the call tonight and emotions are part of the issue that you have, please check out one of those two, or just grab your oils and every single hour of every single day, slap on some oils. Like, how many oils have I already put on while we were sitting on this call? I probably grabbed 4 bottles while Susan was trying to live stream, right? So I am constantly, it's not this thing I do for show, it's this thing I do so that I can live. Like, that's how important. And the vibration of those oils, it doesn't matter which one, because each oil has a different frequency, a different vibration that will do amazing things in your body. So just everybody right now, grab an oil that's near you. I don't care which one it is. And I want to see you put them all over. I don't want to see one sneaky little drop. I don't want none of this. Oh, shoot, I got 2. No, I want to see you saturate your body. Get some oils going on. Get a cup of oils in your hand and apply them. And things you always see me do, I'm always putting them over my heart. Why do you think I always put them here? I can reach it. I have to take off my shoes. I don't have to get them on my back. So all the different things you hear about how you must do this and you have to do that, I want you just to throw those books out, and I want you just to learn to apply them. I want you to use them, put them wherever your little heart desires. I say this, keep them out of your eyes. It's going to get hot. You won't go blind, but you'll remember not to do it again. Keep them out of your ears, because Theoretically, it can damage the eardrums, so never put them in, but you can put them like on a cotton ball. And if you get them on your hands or you get them on your toilet paper and it warms up, it's okay. Your crotch is going to be fine. So just get them out and use them all the time. It will start breaking down some of that emotional stuff going on. So when it comes to that sex life and feeling really good, there are some supplements that I highly recommend. I talk really in depth in that video you guys are going to see, but there's a couple I want to talk about for you ladies. And one is Endogize. Endogize, so you know, is on the cutting block. It's one of the ones they're contemplating getting rid of because not enough people are using it. So I really want to encourage you for you, so that is here for all of us, go get your Endogize. Endogize is a supplement that works on the entire endocrine system, from your pineal and pituitary all the way down to your gonads and your ovaries. It is working on all of them. Here's some of the praise reports I've had from people through the years when they start doing it. They get energy, brain fog goes away, orgasms, people that have never been able to have them. That vaginal dryness that happens as we age and menopause, Endogize helps to take that away. I've had people, now remember, your pancreas and insulin is a part of your endocrine system. And I have had people that were insulin dependent, and the only things they did was Ninja Red and Endogize, and they were able to get off of insulin. That's how potent this particular product is. And it's on the cutting block because none of us talk about it. We don't teach it. It has a baseline of DHEA, which is the precursor to all of your steroid hormones. So what's a steroid hormone? Estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, DHEA. Let's see, what else is one of those? Estradiol, estrone. All of those are steroid hormones, and all of those are really vital for being able to have an amazing, healthy sex life. They're really vital for being able to have a brain that functions the way it's supposed to. And all of those, DHEA helps to maximize. When we are stressed out, when we are worried, when all these things are going around in the world and freaking us out, cortisol levels go up, DHEA levels go down. As those levels go down, we have a lack of a desire. We don't want to do anything. We don't want to go anywhere. We don't want to be around people. And we sure as heck don't want to have sex. It is like way down on the line. Is one of the things that's in our Endogize. It's going to help bring that back. It also has pregnenolone. Pregnenolone is the precursor to DHEA. But the cool thing about pregnenolone is it every minute of the day is turning itself into things like progesterone. How many of you guys are really familiar with our Progestins Plus? Progestins Plus is like, it is one of those oils that every lady needs to be on because it increases progesterone. Do you know what progesterone does for us? Like the real truth on what it does? Progesterone's job is to go into every cell of the body and go, we're going to have a baby. We're going to get pregnant. I'm so excited. And it goes into the uterus and it starts cleaning everything up. It gets all the dead cells out of the way and it tells the body to go replace things. Here, go fix those bones. Get rid of those bones. Make that face look really good. Tighten up that skin. Firm up those boobs. Get them ready. We got to look hot so we can get knocked up. That's what progesterone is doing all the time. But because we don't have enough progesterone, all of those feelings aren't there. It even kicks out it helps our body to kick out pheromones so that men are attracted to us because the pheromones are there and it draws them in just like it does for animals. But that is progesterone that does it. The cool thing with that Endogize is it has the precursors. It has that the pregnenolone, which can turn into the progesterone, or maybe you're low on estrogen, part of that dry vagina, the itchy skin. If you're constantly getting yeasty itchies in your crotch and you're like, oh my God, it's horrible. Part of that is a lack of estrogen and progesterone. So when you up things like your DHEA, you're going to see changes for that. Ladies, if that is a constant for you and you've got those low levels of estrogen going on, you need things like clary sage and sclerescence. All of those are going to help increase the estrogen, which is going to make you feel better about all the things. When progesterone levels dip really, really low, that's when we start feeling like, I'm not needed. I'm not vital. When you think about this, anytime a plant ceases to produce fruit, it starts to wither and die. When we don't have progesterone, which is that fruit, when that's not happening, that's the whole, you hear women, all my kids went off to college, the empty nesters, and I don't know what to do with my life now, and the woe is me. It's not just the children going away. That's a piece of it. That's a normal, healthy piece. But what's happening is because our progesterone levels are dipping as well, we feel like that fruit, that plant, that's no longer needed in withering. So we need to combo. We need to make sure we're getting that endodized. We need to make sure that we are getting our Progestins Plus. We need to make sure that we are taking things like our PD8020. Young Living has a product called PD8020, letter P, letter D, number 80, number 20, and that is literally 80% pregnenolone and 20% DHEA. Now, here's the coolest thing about precursors. With a precursor, I could take the entire bottle of PD8020. I wouldn't recommend it. They're like, I don't know how much they cost. I just buy stuff now. It's a pretty pricey bottle, but I could take the whole bottle in one setting, and my body would use what it needs, and what it doesn't need, I would just urinate it out. So we don't have to worry about a precursor making us go too high or too low. Like if the doctor gives you something like Synthroid, if they give you too much, your thyroid starts going really high and you're hyperthyroid, and you feel anxious and you got that just can't stop moving type thing going on, it's because they gave you too much. If they don't give you enough, you're hypo, and you're like, I'm just tired, I have no energy, because that's an end product hormone. It's a synthetic. And so your body can get too much or it can get not enough. A precursor, which is what is in our endodies and what is in the PD8020, and is actually every hormone product that Young Living has, is a precursor. You cannot take too much. When I talk to ladies about Progestins Plus, when you read the bottle, it says do 1 or 2 drops. 1 or 2 drops a day. But you need to know how progesterone works. Our body has ebbs and flows of progesterone all day long, all month long, different cycles, just as this. When we take that Progestins Plus and we put it on, within about 45 seconds, there starts to be an increase in your progesterone. Within 3 to 4 minutes, the numbers start going up on paperwork. Within about 2 hours, it starts to dip again. So it goes up and then it comes down. So when we're just taking it once a day, which most women that do it, they get it bedtime. They take it because they want to be able to sleep really well. Take their Progestins Plus, they rub it on like, okay, they go to sleep, and they have their happy moment while they were sleeping. Because the next morning, your progesterone levels are low again. This is why I say you got to carry your Progestins Plus with you and put it on every single time you go to the bathroom. Every time you go to the bathroom, rub it on your neck, rub it on your boobs, rub it on your belly, rub it on your arms. Just take that Progestins Plus and rub it everywhere. It's a beautiful perfume, but you need to put it on 4 or 5, 10, 15 times a day for it to do what it needs to do. And because it's a hormone product, you have to move the location. So no matter what you have read on any website out there, don't put it in the same spot over and over. I can't tell you how many women will come to me. Actually, I can see, we'll be talking and I can see they got like a little rash all in this area. And I will say, you use Progestins Plus. And they'll go, yes, I do. I love it. And I'll go, you use it on your neck, right? Oh, I do. It's called contact sensitive. It's overload. Those hormones right here, they stop being able to be absorbed because those cells got all they can handle and they can't get no more. That's why you got to rotate it. That's why you want to put it somewhere fatty and move it around. So out of curiosity, raise of hands, who already uses Progestins Plus? Jim, you don't use Progestins Plus? Come on, get with the program. All right. For those of you that use it, raise your hand if you apply it at least 5 times a day. All right, so let's do this. Raise your hand if you're going to put it on at least 5 times a day. Exactly. We can turn off. We can be done, because I'm telling you what, if you will start that, you will start seeing an interest in all kinds of other things, including sex. Sex will be more fun. Progesterone, listen, ladies, progesterone is getting everything ready to get you knocked up. It's its job. So one of the many things is an added blood flow to the entire nether region. It all fills up with some blood. It's all ready to be to be touched. It likes it a lot. And I'm telling you, using that after about 5 days, you will notice that you will be thinking a little bit more about it. And you will notice that your breasts start to firm up a little bit. And they're more sensitive to touch in a good way, not sensitive like painful. You'll notice that if you have fibrocystic breasts, that starts cleaning up in about 30 days. So there's all kinds of really cool things from your Progessence Plus. So it can also, so you know, be used in any of the sex lubes that we're talking about, because that we're going to be talking about, because it helps with that blood flow going on. So those are two I really wanted to mention. I also wanted to make sure that we talked about, going through my papers to make sure I don't miss anything for you on supplements. I want to talk about Super B. Since we're being non-compliant anyways, apparently I have no filter tonight, Susan. I want to talk about vitamin B. When it comes to your endocrine, no. When it comes to being a breathing human being, we need massive amounts of vitamin B. Every thought that you have, every depression, everything neurological, you need vitamin B for it to function properly. As a matter of fact, one of those vitamin Bs, we know that moms, before they get pregnant, should have, or the babies can have problems with their brain. Like, we all get it. We were taught folic acid. March of Dimes back 50 years ago was marching to tell women to make sure you got folic acid because it helps with brain development. If you don't get it, babies are going to come out and their brains are not going to be functioning like they're supposed to. And it was like this big, huge, hairy deal. I got to ask you a question. How many of you were told after that baby was born, they still need folic acid? How about you? Were you told you still need it? Because you know your brain is constantly creating new cells. It never stops growing. It is constantly in a state of rebuilding and redeveloping and expanding. Neurons, neurotransmitters, all these different things are constant. But one, and that is only one of the 8 essential vitamin Bs that we have to have. And we need it through our entire life. Your brain didn't stop growing. Is it any wonder that we're having so much problem with Alzheimer's? If we know that mamas in the womb, that those babies need folic acid, but then we never give it back, when does that boost to building that brain happen again? So memory, it has to be there. B3 and B2, your body has to have to be able to, men, to be able to ejaculate. You have to have healthy semen to be able to make a baby. You have to have vitamin B3 and vitamin B2. They are non-negotiables for healthy semen. If you want women, if you want that lubrication that we're supposed to have inside there, you know, the lube isn't just so the vaginal lubrication that your body makes isn't just to make sex more comfortable. It's actually there because it's nice and slippery so that when the semen does get inside you, it can swim. It has a medium to swim into so it can go up the fallopian tubes so it can go ahead and fertilize an egg. It's a part of it, but without B vitamins, can't do it. You're not going to have it. So if it takes a while for you to get that lubrication going when you're doing foreplay, it's a sign that your body needs more B vitamins. Also, if you're anxious, if you have depression, if your skin is bad, if your tongue is swollen, how many of you guys get little teeth marks on the side of your tongue? That's a sign of a vitamin B deficiency. It is one of the ways that your body tells you. You get dry little skin in your eyebrows or on your hairline or on your ears. That's a vitamin B deficiency going on. You get little weird ridges or discoloration in your nails. That's a vitamin B deficiency. All of those, you get, what's it called? They're flat out diseases, but we already can't share it anyways. Eczema, psoriasis, anything to do with the skin, that's a vitamin B deficiency. So when we bring back the B, we bring back the energy, we bring back the focus, we bring back the sexy skin, we bring back the feeling good about ourselves, we bring back so many parts and pieces. And in our stressed out, crazy world, every single time you get annoyed, every time somebody cuts off in front of you, every time you see something on the news, every time, oh my gosh, they're trying to kill us, all the things, you use up vitamin Bs all day long. So by the time you're in the bedroom getting ready to do the nasty, you got nothing left to give. Give me my blanket, my pillow, and I am going to sleep. Vitamin Bs. I mean, like our Super B is like 20 bucks, y'all. This is an investment that you have to make into you. Everything else that we talk about is secondary if we don't have some of those basic puzzle pieces. Vitamin B is a puzzle piece that is non-negotiable. If you have aches and pains, I mean, if you have an autoimmune disorder of any of them, it's vitamin B is a part of that. So we talk about D all the time. but B does not get the clout that she needs. B is very powerful. We have that supplement. It is 2 a day is your minimum. But if you've been any of those things I just talked about, you need more than that. Like there's seasons in my life where I'm taking 10 a day. My body needs that. One of the things that you'll see when an older person is having fatigue and issues, the doctors will give them vitamin 12, vitamin 12, B12. You know what I'm saying? They give them those shots because it helps to give them even the energy and get some of their clarity back. But that's 1 of 8. 1 of 8. This is something we can do for ourselves and our teenagers, our children. They need the B vitamins. They absolutely have to have them, and you can get those in our Mighty Bites. So for our kids, we don't even have to give them the Super B. We could do the Mighty Bites. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more on B when it comes to being able to get an erection. Vitamin B, niacin. What niacin does is it's a vasodilator, and it opens up the veins so blood can flow through better. So it just opens up the veins, and you get all this amazing circulation that's supposed to happen. Part of not being able to get an erection or not being able to hold an erection or not being a firm, hard erection or going through and having sex and being done in 3 minutes. All of those have to do with blood flow. All of them. So vitamin B, our Super B, has niacin in there. So I think our vitamin B is amazing, but I think if you have any cardiovascular issues, if you have edema, if you have inability to get an erection or any of those things that we just talked about, you really need to order a niacin supplement and go high dose. Like you need to work your way up to doing about 2,000 milligrams a day, which is really a lot of niacin. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to start slow. And what's going to happen is you're going to take 300 milligrams, then you are going to get this rash that goes all over your body. You are going to be red and you are going to think, oh my gosh, I'm allergic. I need to go to the hospital. But all it is all of those teeny tiny veins all over your body are getting blood for the first time in a long, long time. It is dilating the capillaries. It used to be if you went to the hospital and your heart was having any kind of issues, you were having chest pain, any of the things, they would do a niacin flush where they did IV niacin, and your body would turn as red as this because it would dilate the veins so that the blood could get quickly to the heart while they figured out what was going on with you. It was one of the first things that they would do. And then they partnered it with things like potassium, all again about blood flow. So if you really want to do that, then try that. Just know that you're going to get a rash. It will last 20 to 45 minutes and it will go away. And you do not want to do the extended release niacin is not healthy. There's a whole nother class on why that is, but just get cheap, normal niacin and work your way up. So you get to 300 milligrams, you have that niacin flush, you stay there for 2 or 3 days until the niacin flush stops. So you're taking 300 and you don't get the flush. You go up to 400. So the goal is to keep working your way up so that flush happens, because when it opens those capillaries and it opens all those blood vessels, it's also cleaning them out. So any garbage that has built up, it's breaking it down. So again, when you're talking about sex, do you think blood flow matters to have an amazing sexual experience? You bet your bippy. It's all about longevity and blood flow. So niacin, grab you some. It's important. I'm not going to talk. It's picking and choosing, Susan. I want to see it all. Femigen. Can we talk about Femigen for a second? Femigen is one of the foods. Again, it's a $20 supplement. But ladies, this is food for before they start their period, when they're having their cycle, going through their teen years, getting pregnant, during the pregnancy, after the pregnancy, all the way up until you die. So this is menopause. This is if you have a vagina, you need Femigen. Does that clarify it for you? Femigen is just, it's food for the vajayjay. It is good for all the stuff that we do. It feeds our estrogen. It feeds that progesterone. It feeds all of my parts and pieces. So one of the cool things that's just like a side effect of it is it helps to grow these little follicles that we have in the ovaries that ripen the egg. So they grow, they get all long, and they ripen the egg. So you pick out a healthy egg. So then it can get in, it can fertilize, and you have this beautiful, healthy baby. So, and that's a side effect. It does all the other things too. So you know how you have cramps, menstrual cramps? Did you know we shouldn't? Like, did you know our boobs shouldn't hurt every cycle? No, they hurt because we're missing parts and pieces. And so our body is literally screaming out, ah, I need, but we're not listening to its question. We have the headaches that we get, those headaches when you're on your period, you're like, oh, miserable. I tell you, I had 3 teenage girls all at the same time going through all of it. And we didn't have that crazy up and down emotions because we gave them Themagen before they even started their cycle. You know how you can tell when your little ones are getting cranky and moody and it's a cycle that they got going on? So they hadn't started having actual periods yet, but we started them on Themagen and we started them on Progestins Plus and we started them on Dragon Time. Most people, when they grab for Dragon Time, it's when they're on their period. And they grab and they go, oh, I'm getting crampy. Oh, my boobs hurt. Oh, my, all the other stuff that happens. But what we chose to do, we took Gary's advice and we wanted to take care of the problems before it happened. So what we had our girls do is every single day they got 2 Themagen, and every single day they used their Progestins Plus all day long and their Dragon Time in the morning. When they woke up, they rubbed it on their belly and then they used it again before they went to bed. And my girls did not know until they were adults that most people have cramps and stuff during their period. Would it be nice not to have any of those issues, ladies? For sure. And these are ones that also help with things like polycystic ovary, menopause, PMS, all the things. That is Themagen. Again, it's a $20 supplement that you need to invest in you. Your body needs it. It has clary sage in there. Clary sage is amazing. It's in there orally, so we can talk about what it does, but clary sage helps to stimulate estrogen production. So if you're one of those people that have been told you have estrogen dominance, you know, got too much estrogen, I want you to understand there is estrogen and there is xenoestrogen. Estrogen is made by my body. There is nothing in my body that my body can make that can hurt me. It's not even logical if you're coming from an evolutionary standpoint, right? It can't hurt you if your body makes it. But xenoestrogens, those are man-made estrogens. They're not natural molecules, and our body doesn't know what to do with them. So when they do that test, and like, oh, you got too much estrogen, or the guys, they're starting to get breasts, they got too much estrogen, you need to ask them when they do the blood work, you want to see the estrogen type. Because my mom was told she had estrogen positive breast cancer, but when we actually looked at her paperwork, her blood work, and it breaks it down, it was xenoestrogen positive breast cancer that she had. Xenoestrogen, it's like you know, Lego blocks and Duplo blocks. They're really cute. They look like they're fantastic, but when you try to build them together, they don't sit right, right? They're misshapen. You can't stack them. Well, xenoestrogens, when your body is needing estrogen, if you don't got any estrogen, your body will go ahead and build with a xenoestrogen. But that xenoestrogen is a Duplo block. So when your body uses estrogen to rebuild your breast, because always replacing cells, and it's using it, that's when you get estrogen positive breast cancer, because it's xenoestrogens. It's a mistake. But here's the coolest part. When you stop bringing xenoestrogens into your life through foods, through chemicals, through all the stuff, and you start upping your body's natural estrogen through things like our Themagen and our Endogize and our clary sage, all those things, they start raising that up, your estrogen goes up and your body replaces the xenoestrogens all by itself. It goes through and it goes, oh, that's not supposed to be there. And it replaces it with true estrogen. Does that make sense? Does anybody have questions on that alone? Susan, they're all going to message me later. You know that, right?
My phone's already blowing up.
If you guys have questions, what are the questions that are already being typed?
Mm-mm.
No?
Well, first, we want to know, did you say 1,000 or 2,000 milligrams of niacin?
All right, up to 3,000. 3,000, then you're going to start with 300. So you're going to work your way up over that.
Okay. And then the other question I had was, does caffeine affect the vitamin B in your body? Like, does caffeine deplete it?
Small amounts of caffeine are not the problem. So if you're drinking a cup of tea here and there, it's not a problem. You're doing like your Zing or your Nitro. It's bibits of caffeine. That's not the problem. The problem is when you are living on coffee, 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 soda, 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 all of that caffeine. And the reason it's a problem, it, understand, you guys are going to misunderstand this. Caffeine is not the danger. It's the amount of the poison. Because what happens when you get all this caffeine is it's stimulating your adrenals, and your adrenals kick out more and more and more epinephrine or norepinephrine, adrenaline, whatever you want to call it. It kicks out more to keep you alert and awake, because that's what caffeine does. But it is not the caffeine that does it. Caffeine is stimulatory, so it tells the adrenals to do it. So if you're getting a little bivit of your, because I don't take away my nitro. I'm addicted to nitro. It is always within reach. But it has like 35 milligrams of caffeine in here. So I have 2 of these a day. I'm getting a total of 65, which is less caffeine than you would get in a cup of coffee. So it's the amount. So it's the amount of poison. Just like our body needs a certain amount of arsenic. Did you guys know that? Like arsenic does some good things in our body, but we need to bib it. But that's not what we were getting in the Flint water when our pipes were going through, right? Difference is it's the amount.
Okay, so when you were talking about endogize, somebody asked if they have a history of breast cancer. How does that come into play with the, I'm assuming that the estrogen or the DHEA,
yeah,
maybe?
Both of those. Now, the reason why you're saying that is probably you have estrogen positive breast cancer, which is what I just covered. So whoever sent that question, if you still want me to go in depth on that, send it to Susan again, and I will redo. But there is no such thing. Oh, get this. I'm a Christian. I believe God made my body in perfection to do everything that it does. Cholesterol is not your enemy. Cholesterol does over 500 different functions in your body. Did you guys know that? One of those being all the steroid hormones, it makes pregnenolone, cholesterol does. And the same is true of estrogen. When they tell you estrogen was the cause of your cancer or something your body made is the cause of your cancer, it's not logical. Like I said, even on an evolutionary standpoint, if something inside us could kill us off, we wouldn't be here by now if we've been here for millions and millions of years. I'm just saying it's not logical. It's not true. We have to teach our body how to kick it out again. And the sad thing is usually if somebody is diagnosed with estrogen positive breast cancer, one of the first things they do is give them drugs to put them into their change of life. So they stop making estrogen through their ovaries. But did you know your fat cells make estrogen? They can't stop estrogen from happening. It's so important that if the ovaries or if you have a radical, not a mastectomy, the other direction, if you have your ovaries, oh my gosh, what's it when they take all your female parts?
Hysterectomy.
Hysterectomy, big words. If you have a hysterectomy, your body will still make estrogen. So that's not logical either. Go ahead, Susan. What else?
Okay. One of our young moms has menstrual migraines. And Amy, by the way, I did too, and PD8020 was like a godsend to me. But
sure.
She uses Progestins Plus, it seems to make it worse.
Of course it does. Because listen, so we have all of these different little receptors. So you have, this is a receptor in my body. And this particular receptor wants progesterone, but we don't have it. So what happens is that receptor gets closed off. It's blocked. It's not there. But then you start giving yourself progesterone. You start rubbing on your creams. You start taking your supplements. And suddenly there's progesterone and it's trying to get in, but the receptor is closed. Think you went and worked out, first time you've worked out in months, like, oh my gosh, I felt so good. Oh, I'm going to do this every single day. And you get out of bed the next day and you're like, oh my God, I can't move my arms. My arms hurt so bad. My butt is killing me. You're so sore because all of those muscles haven't worked. All of those receptors have been closed. So what I usually tell people is to wake up those receptors. What you need to do is just take that Progestins Plus at bedtime, rub that on before bed so that the receptors can wake up while you're sleeping, and do that for about 30 days. And then nighttime, and then 1 drop in the morning. Nighttime, 1 drop in the morning, and do it nice and slow so you can wake up those receptors. Just like if you're working out, you start out slow so you don't give up. If you run a marathon day 1, you're going to pass out at the end and never run again. We want to do the same thing with our hormones, and make sure you're adding Themagen to that so that it's up the other parts and pieces. Like, we don't know which little piece is missing for you that causes migraines when you have a cycle. It could be that you need niacin so that those veins are dilated and open and the blood is flowing like it's supposed to. So those are things that you can like play with to see which pieces, but you don't have to be miserable in the process. Are there more questions?
No more questions. The other comments were pretty much saying I have no sex drive, and they were rooting you on and saying I need that.
Woo, woo. Right, we're going to get you a sex drive. That's how this is going to happen. But remember, so we're going to talk about some different oils and stuff, but it is the foundational stuff that's going to make a difference for you first, which is going to be the Themagen. It's going to be your Endogize. For guys, that is our Powergize. Powergize does for men what Endogize does for women. It gets that back. It also has the DHEA. It also has the pregnenolone. It has herbs that actually increase testosterone. One of the herbs in there is epimedium, and that has been shown to increase blood levels of testosterone in 5 weeks of use. 5 weeks. So this is one that's going to help with the erections. It's going to, listen, when I joke about erections and, you know, being able to get that hard erection and circulation, you've got to understand that the ability to get it up is an indicator of heart health, because they both are related to circulation, both of them. So if you're like, yeah, I don't really get a heart erection, it's okay, we do it once a month, I don't mind. I need you to understand why it's important. And ladies, if you're like, I don't want him to have a hard erection and want to have sex all the time, he wants it too much, I need you to understand why it's so much more important than that. You know, get that big picture that this is about heart health. And this, again, it's those neurotransmitters that click when we have that going on. If you haven't had a bond with your significant other and you're feeling like you're pulling apart, intercourse, orgasming together, there are different hormones that are kicked out. One is oxytocin. Oxytocin is a bonding hormone. So it actually, so you guys know, you know how everybody jokes that women link up with other women that they hang around a lot, their cycle will become in sync. Did you know that the same is true of a male and female? Like, men have been studied that they can pick out a woman who's ovulating without looking for a woman who's ovulating. They find her more attractive. They find her more sensual. And this was like a study on 20,000 people that they did this study with, because they are drawn to that. So we understanding how those subtle things that we don't even realize is happening. So we need that. And men, Powergize is your go-to. This is one that's going to help with muscle. The other thing that happens with testosterone is clarity in thought, so that you can remember things. One of the biggest questions I get from wives is, what do I do about my husband's memory? He can't remember anything I tell him. Like, I have to literally write a list, or he forgets what he's going to the store for, and they get really upset. But a lack of testosterone causes that memory lapse that happens. It's testosterone. It does all kinds of things. It's not just for sex. That's just a nice side effect. I'm just saying that is the Powergize. And guys, it is 2 a day minimum, but it's kind of like we said with the other stuff. You're going to be treading water in the beginning. So for the first week to 2 weeks, take 2 in the morning and then take 2 in the afternoon. So you're not treading water with it. And just like with the Predescence Plus and getting some of the headaches, some people, if you've already gone through your change of life and you're using Predescence Plus, you can notice that your hot flashes might come back for a minute. You can notice that your sleep cycle changes for a minute. But again, it's the receptors waking up. So that doesn't mean you're going to stay having that. It's just waking things up. Guys, same can happen for you. Those headaches can happen. I also want to say what we're talking about our guys, because usually if I'm talking about your penis, you'll listen for a minute. So I want to talk about prostate health. Okay. Prostate health is big. This is one of those things. Don't wait until you need it. Most people don't even realize what your prostate does. It's this little gland that is attached to the tube where the semen comes out. And what it does, people call it pre-cum. What it is actually liquid from the prostate that goes through and it cleans out the entire tube so that you can have healthy semen come out. So it's not semen that gets damaged in the process. It's just scrubbing it out for you. So it's like, ooh, we're about to do it. And the prostate will excrete this liquid to clean it out and it gets everything ready. But what happens as we get older, we have intercourse less often. And because of that, men even do their selves less often because the desire isn't there. And it's like how a woman, when you're nursing, if you stop nursing too quickly, it all backs up and it hurts and you can get an infection. The same thing can happen with our prostate. And because that's not getting cleaned out, that's where cancer can grow because it's like any other sewer staying there. So doing your prostate health, this is an easy one, guys. This is 2 a day. That's all you do. It's another $20 one, but it has zinc in there. It has saw palmetto. It has pumpkin seed oil. And all of these are going to help with all of the other stuff that we're talking about. And it's going to help with that circulation, but it's going to keep you from having a problem down the line. And right now they're saying it is not a matter of if you're going to get prostate cancer. It is a matter of when you are going to get prostate cancer. We need to do something about it before it's a problem. It's a cheap fix. Just throw that one in there. Choose to do that on a regular basis. Were there questions that popped up while I was doing that?
No, you're good.
All right. So
well, there was a couple of us trying to debate.
about
the men. We're not up to the men yet. Between Femigen and Endogize, like
yes.
Which one to start with, because they seem like they cross over so much. So there was a couple of us were going, which one do you, yeah.
You need a both. Honestly, Femigen, like the world according to Shannon is Ninja Red, cleansing trio, so you get your gut moving. Then for women, it is Femigen and Endogize, and for men, it is Prostate Health and Powergize. Because if your hormones aren't working, nothing else I can do for you will work. Like it won't. Then the next one would be Super B, because the hormones are the key to everything else. That's what makes them work. So that's why I teach on hormones so much, because I don't think people understand the importance. So when it comes to some of the oils that you can play, I seen somebody just seen something, Andrea, exactly. Oh, that's you. Okay. You guys know I can't read that as we go along, right? So I want to talk about oils that are aphrodisiacs for women. Now, I will tell you this. All of these can be used vaginally. All of these can be used along the clitoris. All of these can be used on the penis, the shaft, the testicles, and all of them, because you will send me messages later, if you were to ingest them orally during the act of sex, they are perfectly fine. You don't have to worry about it, even though they're not vitality. Okay, so that is getting caboodle, because the question always comes up afterwards. So you do you. I want you to think about these as things you're going to do on a regular basis, but also things that you can do to set the mood for the evening. In this day and age, it's not like it was in the 1800s when the sun goes down, you put the kids to bed, and you have a fireplace, and we can have some sex and have 15 kids. Right? So it was a lot easier to get into that sexual state than it is now. So if you're a busy family, you need to schedule it. Just put it down that, whatever days you're interested, and put it on the schedule and be like, this is when we're going to do it. And we're going to do it because it's medicinal. We're going to have some medicinal sex, and plan that for 6 months, and then come back and tell me how amazing you are feeling. Because it really does kick out so many other neurotransmitters that we are all low on. So pick your poison. I personally think 3 times a week is a really good place to start. So like, you might be an every night kind of person. You might be a 3 times a year kind of person, but the average family, the average couple, the average couple has sex once a month. That's what the average couple has. But the average couple also has a lot of health issues. The average couple in the United States, we are not a healthy people. And when you understand how truly orgasmic health is good for you, you're going to see where I'm coming from. So here's a couple. First, jasmine. How many of you guys already use jasmine on a regular basis? Yeah. You guys don't even know what you are missing out on. I have Shelly who loves jasmine. Jasmine is a massive aphrodisiac. Jasmine, one of the scientific studies was showing that using jasmine, just spraying it in your room, increased your own what's your aromas called? They're just the pheromones. Increases your pheromones by over 100%. Just spraying jasmine in the room. It gets your pheromones going out. And why does that matter? Because even we smell our own pheromones and it gets us more sensual. We have this little sexy walk that we do when we're feeling all sensual. And jasmine is one of those go-tos. So this can be, you can also have trigger aromas. So since none of you guys use jasmine right now, it would be a great trigger aroma that on the night you guys are planning, say Monday night, Wednesday night, Friday night, those are your nights. That goes into the diffuser in the evening while you guys are watching TV. So you're starting at 5 o'clock, and that is, and what happens is it becomes a trigger. And when you smell that aroma, your little nipples get hard. Oh, it's gonna happen tonight. And you start kicking out all these things. So you are more interested. They're trigger aromas. Now, so you know you can use trigger aromas for anything. So if there's oils you have never experienced before and you want to set a habit, what you can do is every time, like say you never use, what do I got here? You never use Genius, Kids and Genius. You can set a habit that, you know, you wake up and you go for your walk, and on your walk, you breathe in your Genius. Just, oh, I love this one. You apply it, you breathe in it, you apply it. So every single day you get up, you go for your walk, you breathe the oil. What will happen is you will breathe the oil and you will think, let's go for a walk. Because it's a trigger. It's a trigger aroma, and you can do that for everything. So you can do it as a reward for any type of modification, even with your kids. You're trying to make a modification. You guys make the bed, and every time you're making the bed, you let them spray the fragrance that you want, that is their trigger, so that they start, when they smell the fragrance right after breakfast, they go and they make their bed. So think about that with triggers. So your jasmine can be that trigger because it's an aphrodisiac. It is specifically an aphrodisiac for men, but if every time they smell it in the diffuser, they know they're about to get some, it gets their juices going too. So I'm just saying that's what dragon time. We talked about it a little bit ago because it helps with all of your hormonal everything, helps to increase that estrogen so that it's giving you the tools that your body needs to be able to function properly. And again, I think Dragon Time should be one that ladies, you use every single day, just like you use your protestants, so that it's keeping us from having those ups and downs. So you never have to grab a heating pad again. How many of you would like that to be the case? No heating pads, no cramps, none of the up and down. It just stays even. That's the Dragon Time, and it's perfectly fine for pregnant mamas. It's fine for breastfeeding. It's fine for all the different things. Clary Sage. Clary Sage is a specific estrogen increaser. It has estrogen-like compounds in there that your body knows what to do with, and it will help to increase the estrogen. It also helps with blood flow. That's why it's a really good one to use in any of the different loops that you're going to make, because it gives that floral note, increases blood flow, and increases the estrogen in general. Then you have Lady Scleral. Lady Scleral was created by Gary. It has, ready, I want to read them to you. Geranium, which is another aphrodisiac. Coriander is all about blood flow. Vetiver, we're going to talk about vetiver in a minute. Orange, clary sage, bergamot, ylang ylang, and sandalwood, Spanish sage, jasmine, Idaho blue spruce, and spearmint. That is all in that bottle of Lady Scleral. This is about balancing every single hormone in your body. So it has something for pituitary, it has something for pineal, it has something, each of those different things that have a play are already in there. So you're going to see balance to that estrogen and progesterone. It's going to be in there. This one is specific to women because it does do a very high estrogen effect. They build on each other. It's a powerhouse. Then we have got, I want to see if I have any more for women I want to talk about.
Side note, 3 of the men on the call, the husbands are buying their wives the jasmine.
Next time you hug my neck in an event, you're going to smell jasmine. You're going to sneak off to the bathroom. That's what's going to happen. I love it. So some other ones, and these are male and female both. So you have cinnamon. Cinnamon is one that we don't talk about for the hormones very often, but it's very hormonal. It is one of those oils that, again, helps with circulation. It helps with dilating the blood vessels. Great for men or women. Just know that if you're going to use it during intercourse or foreplay, you want to make sure you dilute that to at least a 4-to-1. So that would be 4 drops of B6 or carrier oil to 1 drop of cinnamon, because it is really warm. And if it's uncomfortable, or if you have never used oils in your in the bedroom, you're going to want to dilute that even more, because you won't be used to the warmth. And one of my gals after our class that we did last week shared my I have one that's called Light the Fire. It's a lube, and she took it with them on their little tete-a-tete that they went away on last weekend. And she said after everything was over and done with, he was like, something was really hot. It was hot. I don't know what it was. I liked it, but it was really hot. So know that you're going to want to dilute them a little bit more if you're not used to them, but they really do bring a lot to it. It is a major libido enhancer. So if you are just not really interested, cinnamon is one that you can use that will help bring the interest. It will increase that blood flow so that you can enjoy it. It helps to lubricate. It's great. It's all about sexual harmony, so it's good for male or female. That's why it's really great in the lube. It's great for massage as well. So you can, these different lubes that we're talking about, you can use as a full body massage and just go from that to the thighs to every other area that you want to go to. Clary sage, we already talked about what it does. Jasmine, we talked about. Rose. Rose is an extremely sensual oil. It is one that when you first start using it, you're going to want to dilute. So when you're making your lube, you're going to pick oils that have a little bit of heat. So you can use things like that cinnamon. It's a vasodilator. You can use things like wintergreen, peppermint, spearmint. All of those are really good because they bring a little bit of heat, and you want that heat because of the blood flow. But then you're going to go with some floral notes to it as well, because the floral notes are ones that usually work with that longevity. So instead of just 3 minutes and you're done, the floral notes help so that lasts just a bit longer, and you'll like those. And things you can use would be like clary sage would work in there, rose would work in there really well. Usually I tell people just 1 drop of rose, because it's such a strong frequency that it can be overpowering in the bedroom when you're up close with it like that. It's a great one. Then sandalwood. Sandalwood has aldosterone tendencies. So aldosterone is one that helps with male stick-to-itiveness. So they can just really go for that longer time. It helps both male and females to have strong orgasms. It increases the amount of semen. So it also increases the amount, but it also increases the health of the semen itself. So it's a really powerful one that you can add in. We use sandalwood on our face because it helps with wrinkles. Well, it is pretty potent. It's also a really mild aroma, so you could put that in any of those massage oils, or you can put them in the lubes, and it's not a really strong smell or taste. So you have that going on. Then ylang ylang. Ylang ylang, I think, should be in every lube that you use. It is also in our sensation, so it's already in that with the massage oils. But ylang ylang is all about balancing all of your male and female. So from a vibration standpoint, so one of you can be vibrating up here, one is vibrating here. The day has been all the different things, and ylang ylang brings you both here. And this will change this. When ylang ylang is involved, it helps to increase that oxytocin, that bonding that we're talking about. That's ylang ylang coming in and doing its thing. It also balances your testosterone. So ladies, we're supposed to have testosterone. Men, you're supposed to have some estrogen. The cool thing about ylang ylang is it is a balancer of both. That's powerful. It's also even though it's a floral note, it's huge for circulation. So this one is really good for the heart. Like, you'll notice a lot of the different ones we're talking about are ones that you hear me talk about in the heart classes, because remember, what is it all about? It's about blood flow. We need to get the blood flowing the way it's supposed to be. So those are some of them. Then I want to talk about for our guys, these are some specific. Now, even though I'm saying this stuff is specific for male or female, understand that in that moment, it's okay if they crisscross. So you don't have to be like, no, don't put that on me, I might grow a vagina. That's not how it's gonna work. It just brings the balance into it. So goldenrod. This one is a really easy one to remember. Gary always said goldenrod for a goldenrod. And this is about one of the studies he told us when I think we were in Ecuador, we were somewhere with him, and it was discussing the fact that measuring penile length and girth before and after repeated use of goldenrod, that it got more girth and more length from doing that for about a week. I think you got time to rub some oils on for a week. So this particular 4-pack that I'm going to give you, this is about increasing that girth and that length. So, and also, like I said, the motility, the amount. So if you're trying to get pregnant, this is one that's going to help be able to get that fertility going. So goldenrod is one of them. The next one is Shutron. Shutron is our men. This is the aphrodisiac for your wife. So you put it on so that we want you. That is the aphrodisiac effect that it has. It is. I had one friend that when my husband wears Shutron, and I'm not going to tell you, it's embarrassing, but and I say lots of things. So imagine what she had to have said to be embarrassing, right? But Shutron, that is the one that you need to use. And we have an entire line so that you're layering that aroma on you. We've got shampoo, body wash, we've got the shaving cream, we've got all the different things that you can use, your beard oil. But the actual Shutron, guys, you should be using Shutron about 6 times a day, just like we use Prodescence. One of the cool things, one of the oils that's in that Shutron helps a man feel more masculine. It literally helps to increase the testosterone and make you feel more caveman, more manly than what you are feeling right now, because we're in such a sedentary lifestyle now that our guys don't get to go out there and cut the wood and, do the hunting and all the things. And it really helps with that, which is why Gary created that. The precursor to Shutron was Mister. Now, they both come at it from 2 completely different directions, but they're both phenomenal. So that Mister, the Shutron, the goldenrod, and then Idaho blue spruce. So Idaho blue spruce, and this is true of any of our tree oils, are all about that stamina and that strength going on. And Idaho blue spruce is another one that when they did studies, there was an increase in the amount of testosterone that guys had. Now, the application process is you take goldenrod, you put 3 or 4 drops in your hand, and you apply that shaft all the way to your testicles. So you apply that, you put the lid on, then you go to the next one, which would be your Shutron. Again, you're going to put testicles all the way up the shaft. Then you're going to put your Mister, and then you're going to put your Idaho blue spruce. Now, I keep seeing online where people are making like a roll-on blend. Listen, you have time to put 4 oils on your penis every day. You're touching it anyway. You just get some oils on your when you're doing it. And I'm telling you, that 4-pack is powerful. And then on top of it, you will layer Pregnenolone Plus. Pregnenolone Plus is a cream of that pregnenolone and DHEA, just like the pill. This is one that you're just going to use a dime size amount, and dime size is about this size. You don't have to do more. That is all that it takes. And you're going to, again, apply that on top of those oils. And this is something you're going to do every single morning, because this is how you get that increase happening. And you will notice different things happening with your stamina, with your energy, with your memory. Your wife will so appreciate that your memory is coming back. And that's because it's increasing that testosterone for you. And remember, when we're increasing the testosterone, we're making your heart function better. Testosterone helps with all the muscles in your body. So that is when you'll also see some more definition coming to the body. And then for my ladies, I think I already went over the lady oils. And just so you know, if you're applying all those in the morning and it leads to sex, that's okay. All that whole 4-pack and the pregnenolone can be, again, it can be vaginally via any application necessary. It will work just fine for you. And it's, again, even with the cream on there, it's okay if it was taken orally. And then oils that are just good for the 2 is that ylang ylang we talked about, Sensations. It is a straight oil. It is also used in a massage oil. And then Endoflex. Endoflex is all about the entire endocrine. And it can be used in one of your lubes as well, because it has so many cool things that are in there that help with it. One of the lubes that I talked about last week on the call is we use Sensation Massage Oil as our base. That's the base oil that we use. And we use about 3 ounces, so just a small container of it. And then in that, we put 12 drops of Idaho blue spruce, 10 drops of peppermint, 6 drops of wintergreen, and 6 drops of Endoflex. And I call that light the fire because it for sure brings that burn and that sensation. So if you're not used to using oils in the bedroom, you may want to cut down on the peppermint and the wintergreen, but you can even use things like our Ortho Ease and our Orthosport and any of our massage oils would be fantastic. And just try to, when one is out, try the next one and just play with them because you will such different experiences and playing around and switching the oils, you will have different sensations happening with that as well. So on that note, any questions?
Well, we do have one. I need to go back and find it. And I'm laughing because my husband was messaging me the whole time. He's like, Shannon said so.
There was the question about the uterine fibroids. At
Do you
7:59.
see it, Amber?
Yeah, it says, are there any supplements or oils that are helpful for small uterine fibroids?
For sure. So the first thing you would want to do is get Emagen and Endogize, and then you're going to want to take the oils that we mentioned, like your fennel and your Idaho blue spruce, and you can make a vaginal implant. Orthosport's a great holder for it, and literally inserting those oils before bed at nighttime, and it will help with anything like that going on. Same thing if they've got, oh my gosh, what is it, where the uterine is growing outside of it? And if you look in one of the oil books, they actually have a protocol of oils that Gary would recommend. So you can use any of those oils and put them as an implant.
Well, my ER order just went up by about $100.
Right? Good stuff. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Rodney was over here going, oh, that sounds interesting. Yeah, okay.
That's not what is it.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
Insulin other than Endogize for the person with insulin, what that particular person did was Endogize 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 6 ounces of Ninja every day. And that got her completely off of. She was also rubbing a whole bunch of oils because you know how I get people a little addicted, but yeah, those were the primary ones she really says did it for her. All right, back to you, Susan. It's all you.
I am going to stop the live stream